28. Not 2,800. 28 cars. That is how many Jeeps were sold in the entire country of Australia in June, according to VFACTS, the industry's own sales data. 12 years ago, Jeep was moving more than 30,000 vehicles a year here, roughly 2,500 every single month. Now it sells 28, which means for every 100 Australians who bought a Jeep at the peak, 99 have walked away. And here is the part that makes it worse. Jeep did not die of natural causes. The brand in your street, the Wrangler your neighbor still cannot park near his house because of a fire notice with no fix. The Grand Cherokee the dealer cannot even get stock of. All of it traces back to decisions made in boardrooms a very long way from Australia. This is the story of who actually killed Jeep in this country. And the number one suspect is not Chinese, is not Japanese, and is not even a car company in the way you think of one. It is a conglomerate called Stellantis, and Jeep is not the only body. By the end of this video, you will see 5 badges dying in Australia at once, all owned by the same people, and you will understand exactly why your driveway never saw it coming. First, the scale of the collapse, because the numbers you are about to hear are almost impossible to believe. Last year, Jeep sold 1,682 cars in Australia, its worst result since VFACTS records began in 1997. This year is on track to halve that again, 365 sales in the first 6 months, down another 66%. The dealer network has shrunk from 65 showrooms to around 44 and keeps shrinking. Grand Cherokee stock has almost entirely dried up, and the motoring press has stopped asking whether Jeep is struggling and started asking, in print, whether Jeep is about to leave Australia altogether. The same slow walk to the exit this country watched once before with a brand called Holden. So how does a badge that owned your country's four-wheel drive dream fall 99%? It takes 10 decisions, and every one of them was made on purpose. Number 10. The price hike that started it. The Grand Cherokee your family cross-shopped against a Prado a decade ago was a value play. Jeep's boom years in Australia were built on sharp pricing, the famous "I bought a Jeep" advertising, and a product that undercut the Japanese giants. At the peak, Australians responded with more than 30,000 purchases a year. Then the pricing walked away from the people who built the brand. Generation by generation, the Grand Cherokee moved up market until the current car launched carrying price tags tens of thousands of dollars above the vehicles that made the badge famous. A brand that sold on value repositioned itself as premium, in a market where premium buyers already had German badges and value buyers were being courted by everyone else. You cannot double your price and keep your customer. Jeep bet that the badge would carry it. The badge did not, and the boom customers went straight back to the Prado and the Everest and, later, to the Chinese brands selling exactly what Jeep used to sell, a lot of four-wheel drive for the money. And if you were one of those boom-era buyers, you did nothing wrong. You bought a fair deal, and then the brand repriced you out of your own loyalty. Your next car was somebody else's badge, not because you left Jeep, but because Jeep left your price bracket and assumed you would follow. You did not, and neither did anyone else. Number 9. The servicing reputation. The Jeep that spent more time at the dealer than the beach is not a joke this country invented for fun. Through the boom years, Jeep built a warranty and reliability reputation bad enough that it became national folklore, the punchline that undid the advertising jingle. Resale values sagged, and every disappointed owner told 10 mates. Reputations in the car business are bought slowly and sold instantly. Toyota spent 70 years building the "it just works" story. Jeep torched its own version in about 5. And when the products later improved, and in fairness they genuinely did, nobody was listening anymore. The lesson runs through this whole list. Australians forgive a lot, but they do not forgive being stranded, and they never forget who stranded them. By the time Jeep wanted its customers back, those customers were in Hiluxes, telling everyone at the barbecue why. You have probably heard one of those stories yourself. The mate with the Grand Cherokee that ate a transmission. The neighbor whose warranty claim turned into a 3-month argument. Whether every story was fair barely matters. In this country, the barbecue is the most powerful marketing channel there is, and Jeep handed it to its enemies for free. Number 8. The Stellantis merger itself. Stellantis is what happens when nobody is actually in charge of your brand anymore. And if you own any of these badges, this entry is your explanation. In 2021, Fiat Chrysler merged with the French PSA Group to create a 14-brand conglomerate, and Jeep Australia stopped being anyone's priority and became a line item in an Amsterdam headquartered spreadsheet. 14 brands is not a family, it is a tournament. Every model, every market, every right-hand drive engineering budget now competes against 13 siblings for the same capital. Australia is a small right-hand drive market at the bottom of the world, and in that tournament, small right-hand drive markets lose almost every time. You saw the same movie from the British side on this channel, the same conglomerate that let Vauxhall bleed out after promising it a future. The playbook is identical, and Australia was never going to be the exception. When headquarters is deciding between feeding a brand in Europe, America, or here comes last. If this story is making sense of something you have watched happen on your own street, do two quick things. Tap like and subscribe. Half this channel's job is joining the dots the industry would rather leave scattered, and the algorithm only shows you the next investigation if you tell it to. Right, back to the countdown. And from here, it stops being about Jeep. Number 7, the model drought. The showroom with nothing new in it is how a brand dies quietly. While the Chinese brands were landing a new model in Australia roughly every 6 weeks, Jeep's local range shrank and aged. The small SUVs went. The affordable end vanished entirely. What remained was a handful of expensive, aging vehicles in a market drowning in fresh metal. Walk into what is left of a Jeep showroom today and count the launches. The only new product confirmed for Australia is the third-generation Compass, and even its timing is unconfirmed. One car, someday, maybe. That is the entire published future of the brand in this country. Against that, your average Chinese newcomer launched more product in 18 months than Jeep has in 5 years. Buyers notice movement. A brand that stops launching looks like a brand packing up, and Australians will not park 50 grand on a badge that might not have a parts warehouse here in 5 years. Run the test on yourself. Would you, right now, sign up to 5 years of finance on a brand whose entire confirmed Australian future is one unconfirmed hatchback? Your hesitation is the answer, and it is the same hesitation happening in every household that briefly considers what is left in that showroom. Multiply your doubt by the whole country, and you get 28 sales in a month. Number 6, the hybrid they refuse to send. The new Cherokee is the car that could have saved Jeep in Australia, and Stellantis decided you cannot have it. The redesigned Cherokee is a mid-size hybrid SUV, which is, almost to the letter, the exact car Australia buys more of than anything else. The RAV4 just became the best-selling vehicle in the country on the back of that formula. Stellantis confirmed the new Cherokee will be built in left-hand drive only. No Australian version. Not delayed, not expensive, simply never coming. The one product with the shape, the badge, and the powertrain to bring Jeep back into the biggest segment in the country was designed with this market excluded from the start. Read that decision the way it deserves to be read. It is the moment the parent company answered the question everyone was asking. There is no rescue plan for Jeep Australia, because when the rescue vehicle was on the drawing board, Australia was not. And understand what you missed out on, because it stings. A hybrid Cherokee, priced against the RAV4, wearing a badge with genuine four-wheel drive heritage, would have been a contender in your driveway conversation. You will never get to have that conversation. Somewhere in a product meeting, the steering wheel went on the left, and your market quietly ceased to exist. Number 5, the body count. Jeep is not dying alone, and this is the part almost nobody in Australia has put together. Stellantis owns 14 badges, 5 of them sold here, and every single one of them is collapsing at the same time. Citroen sold 3 cars in Australia this year, 3, before quietly giving up on passenger cars here altogether. Fiat suspended imports of its only 2 passenger models, and what remains is a vestige selling vans. Peugeot lost its Australian distributor and is limping at a few hundred sales. Alfa Romeo is at 150 for the year, less than 1 car per dealer per month. Line those charts up next to Jeeps and the pattern is unmistakable. 5 badges, 1 owner, 1 direction. This is not 5 separate brands having 5 separate bad years. This is one company's portfolio being managed toward the exit in one market, while every individual brand insists everything is fine. Number 4, the denial script. Everything is fine is exactly what they keep saying, and the quotes deserve to be read out loud. Stellantis insists Fiat is not leaving Australia permanently. Stellantis says Peugeot has a strong future here. Jeep's global product boss stood up and declared the brand committed to right-hand drive and committed to Australia. Hold those words next to the actions. Committed to Australia, while the Rescue Cherokee is engineered left-hand drive only. A strong future, while the distributor walks away. Not leaving permanently, while the import pipeline sits suspended and the year's sales fit in a single car carrier. You watched Vauxhall get the same speeches in Britain right up until the factory gates shut. Corporate commitment statements are not forecasts, they are anesthetic, administered so the patient stays calm while the decision that has already been made works through the paperwork. When the words and the shipping manifests disagree, believe the manifests. Number 3. The fire notice. The Wrangler parked away from the house is where this story stops being a spreadsheet and lands in Australian driveways. Regular viewers already know it. More than 9,000 Australian Wranglers and Gladiators sat under a recall notice telling owners to park outside, away from structures, because of a fire risk, with the fix not yet available in this country when the notice went out. Sit with what that means for the actual owner. You bought a $70,000 or $80,000 vehicle from a global brand, and the official guidance was park it away from your family home and wait. That is the ownership experience at the exact moment the same parent company was deciding whether your market deserved investment. Every brand gets recalls, Toyota included, and a recall honestly handled can even build trust. What a shrinking brand cannot survive is the combination. A safety notice with no immediate remedy, a dealer network evaporating beneath it, and a head office whose commitment statements no longer match its engineering decisions. Trust dies at the intersection, and that is precisely where Jeep parked. Number 2, the discount surrender. The $25,000 discount is the moment a brand admits what its cars are actually worth. When the price rises stopped working, Jeep swung to the opposite extreme. Drive-away deals slashing enormous amounts off vehicles, in some cases up to $25,000 off. A discount that size does not read as generosity, it reads as a confession. Every existing owner, maybe you, watched their resale value get executed in a press release. And every potential buyer learned the sticker price was fiction all along. Why would you ever pay full price for a badge that has publicly proven it will fold? And the cruelty of it is that the discounts punished the loyalists hardest. The people who paid full freight, who defended the brand at the barbecue, woke up owning cars worth tens of thousands less because head office needed a quarter to look respectable. Price integrity, once spent, does not come back. Ask anyone trying to sell a used Jeep this year, into a market where the brand itself might not stay. Number 1, the spreadsheet in Amsterdam. The killer was never in Australia. Every decision on this list, the pricing, the model drought, the left-hand drive Cherokee, the denial scripts, the panic discounts, was made or approved by a conglomerate that in February announced a $26 billion reset, posted a loss for the year, cancelled its dividend, and watched its own shares fall 30%. Stellantis is a company in survival mode, and companies in survival mode do triage. 14 brands, dozens of markets, not enough capital to feed them all. Somewhere in that triage, a small right-hand drive market at the bottom of the world, with 5 underperforming badges and a total Stellantis volume that would embarrass a single Toyota dealership, got its priority set. Nobody announced it. Nobody had to. You can read the decision in everything that has happened since. That is who killed Jeep in Australia. Not the Chinese brands, they only picked up the customers Jeep abandoned. Not Australians, we bought $30,000 a year when the deal was fair. A holding company did it, methodically, from the other side of the world, while assuring everyone at every step that it was committed. And the reason this story matters beyond Jeep is that it is a preview. As the giants consolidate and the Chinese wave squeezes everyone's margins, more badges in your street are owned by fewer and fewer conglomerates doing exactly this kind of triage. Jeep is what it looks like when your brand loses the tournament. It will not be the last. Number 0. The case for the defense. I have prosecuted Stellantis for 18 minutes, so here is the honest other side. First, Australians did stop buying these cars, and no conglomerate forced that. The products aged, rivals got better, and buyers made free choices. A company cannot be obliged to lose money here forever out of sentiment, and Holden's fate proved even genuine sentiment does not pay for factories or dealer networks. Second, the $26 billion reset is arguably responsible management. Stellantis inherited overlapping brands from a messy merger, and pruning weak markets to save the whole company is what turnarounds look like from the inside. Ugly for us, rational for them. Third, nothing is officially decided. Jeep continues to sell here, the new Compass is still slated for Australia, and the company denies any exit. Everything in this video reads a direction from actions, and directions can change. If Stellantis lands the Compass at a genuinely sharp price, this video ages badly, and I will happily make the follow-up saying so. And fourth, some of Jeep's wounds predate Stellantis entirely. The pricing missteps and the reliability folklore were self-inflicted long before the merger. The conglomerate may simply be the undertaker, not the murderer. So here is what is confirmed and what is not. Confirmed on the record: the 28 sales in June and 365 for the half year. The worst full year since records began. The dealer network shrinking from 65 toward 44. The left-hand drive only Cherokee, the Citroen withdrawal from passenger cars, the Fiat import suspension, the Peugeot distributor exit, the Wrangler park outside notice, the $26 billion reset, the cancelled dividend, the share fall. Reported, but not settled. Exactly how deep this year's discounting runs varies by dealer and month, and the full year sales figure is still being written, still developing. Whether the new Compass actually lands here, at what price, and whether any of the 5 badges sees 2028 in this country, this story is not finished. It is mid-execution. Now your turn, and this comment section is going to be a time capsule. Have you ever owned a Jeep, or any of the 5? And what ended it for you? The price, the servicing, or the feeling the brand had already left before you did? And the bigger question, which badge currently in your street do you reckon is next to get the Stellantis treatment from its own head office? The comments called Holden early. Call the next one. And speaking of calling it early, the same forces squeezing Stellantis are now squeezing the Japanese giants that are not Toyota. Mazda, Nissan, Mitsubishi, Subaru. Caught between a giant with a moat and a Chinese wave with no bottom. And at least one of them is in far more trouble in Australia than its badge lets on. Which one, and how bad? That is the next video. Subscribe now so you do not miss it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in that one.